All right guys, welcome to another video. Yes, you read the title right of the video. This is the exit interview of my 2003 E46 330i ZHP. So the time has come. I've had this car almost 3 years and it served me so well. I've actually liked this in a lot of ways more than I thought I would. But it's been about 3 years and I'm ready to move on. The good news for you guys, I'll give you a sneak peek into my plans. I'm buying a car that a lot of you guys are going to love. That's all I'm gonna say because that's a different video, but today is about the E46 ZHP. Of course, in a Mola red, so this is essentially the sport package version of the E46. So if you didn't get an M3, but you wanted pretty much the sportiest version that had 4 doors, you'd buy this car. And so I'm going to tell you a little bit about it, my ownership experience with it, why I like it, why I don't like it. And I'm generally selling it because I've had my time with it, I've enjoyed it. I don't really have any significant plans for it in the future. And I'm also buying something else. So I don't, have space for it. And I don't really think I will be enjoying it or driving it once I get the other vehicle, especially because I have a couple more. So, time has come, you've enjoyed it, you've loved it, time to move on. So that's kind of the synopsis of where we're coming from today. So let's talk a little bit about this car, the things I like, the styling. So we're up front. Of course, the chrome grills are factory, and this one needs a little bit of love, but we've got the aftermarket angel eyes, we've got the sport bumper. The plastic is in good shape. I did the plastic rejuvenator in a video. I've actually spent well over 40 hours doing a paint correction and coating and all that stuff for this car. So when I got it, it's gone through a huge transformation just from sort of an upkeep and like cleanliness perspective. Before my ownership, the owner did thousands of dollars worth of preventative maintenance and upkeep and normal things. Full suspension was done. The cooling system was done by me. So I did the cooling, and I actually just recently did the oil filter housing gasket, which was a lot of steps, but it actually wasn't too difficult. So if you guys are hands-on and you have the oil filter housing gasket leaking, I would say it's definitely worth trying to do yourself. It took like well over 4 hours for me, but I was taking my time, and I would say you can do it. So definitely try doing that if you can. But yeah, so Mola red, we've had a new windshield, we've had a lot. We've had 2 front new tires. I did a new caliper, a window regulator, tint, like we've kind of set it up in a very efficient, cost-effective way. And that's kind of, I would say, the reason why you would like a car like this is for how, it looks really good. It drives really good. So it's not fast, but it is sprightly. It's fairly quick for what it is. But the turn in, the suspension, like if you have fresh suspension in this car, even just the OEM rejuvenation kit from FCP or wherever you get it, even without aftermarket suspension, like for a normal non-M car, it drives really good. Like the steering rack, whatever they did in this car is done really good. So again, I would not give it praise if I didn't think it deserved it. And I've had vehicles where I would complain about the car or there's a problem or whatever. And I would definitely tell you if I hated this car for whatever reason. So I really actually liked it a lot more than I thought I would. Okay, so we're gonna do a little walk around here. I did a fresh wash, and that's just how I like to sell cars. I have the title, I have all the keys. I went through the full car with the new owner. So he's committed to buying it. I'm committing to selling it to him. So we've already finalized the deal besides actually exchanging the title and the money. So everything's done, deal is sealed. And we went through everything. So like that tire has a slow leak. We talked about that. The trim on the other side doesn't, stay put. And there's a few other things. It does need a clutch. So I told him that. It drives good, but as I mentioned in other videos, it will eventually need a clutch. So you can drive it now, it's perfectly fine, but it'll eventually need one. So very transparent about transactions. You've seen other videos where I've done the same thing, but we've clearly got the sport interior, or I don't actually know the full name of it, but it's clearly the Alcantara two-tone with the suede, which is pretty cool. And then like the cubic trim, cubic zirconium or cubic something. I don't remember exactly what that's called, but fresh shift knob by me. otherwise it's good. I mean, there's no rattles. There's a little bit of wear, you know, on this, which is a 20-year-old kind of problem to have, but everything's good. You know, shifter is fine, but it has some play, right? Because the bushings will need to be done. The steering wheel obviously needs some love. And there's a patch on the seat, which I went through with the new owner, not officially new owner, but yeah, so car's in good shape. It's clean. I put the M3 floor mats just for fun. You know, I have a rubber floor mat as well, but I don't really like it, and neither does he, so another reason we get along. Yeah, so I showed him one of the things you guys have seen, the door handles, so that'll be something, you know, obviously it's not mechanical of an issue by any means, but yeah, I mean, the car, if I had space and patience and a desire to drive like a lot of cars, like a larger amount, like 4, 5, 6 cars, you know, this would probably be a car that would just stay because I bought it for very cheap. But you know, you have to maintain and insure and logistically manage all these cars, and I don't have a ton of time to just do that. So I like to actually enjoy them, and I have enjoyed this, and it's time for another one. So that's kind of the story here. Nothing crazy. He'll get the black rubber floor mat there. I mean, the car is very straight. There's not any dents. There actually is one tiny door ding on the other side that we went through. Yeah, so I mean, I'm kind of just going around talking about it, but you know, I'll get in the car here, give you a mileage update, 129,000 miles, and car has been really good. It's never left me stranded. It's, you know, been reliable. It has a lot of character. So if you're looking at one of these, I think if that's what you're looking for, then this car suits the bill, fits the bill. I like the sunroof for a sedan that's a little more, I would say, relaxed versus like an M3 or something. You know, people go crazy for the slick top, which I don't really know if that was very common or even offered in the US, to be honest with you. But I think the sunroof is nice. It works. I opened it. We did everything. So we went for a drive. He drove it. I rode in the passenger seat, and he did whatever he wanted. So anyway, so that's kind of a walk around of the car exit interview. We'll go back around, but you guys have seen it. You've loved it. These cars would look good with a little lip spoiler on the trunk, a trunk lid spoiler. So maybe when doing the door handles or something, you could buy the piece and have it painted as well. That'd be a lot of bang for your buck if you're going to do a little painting. But otherwise, you got the normal rock chips. But this is a great car. You don't have to stress about the miles. It's reliable. Do the kind of the big items, the oil filter housing, gas, the cooling system, the suspension. It's a great car. All right, so that is gonna do it. I am sad to see this car go, and even upon selling it, asking a few guys that were actually serious about buying it, a lot of people have offered and said, as soon as you're thinking about selling it, let me know. And you're one of literally a dozen people, so it's nothing against you, but this is a local guy who's a close friend. We agreed on a price, we agreed on logistics, and I think that's the time you sell. So that worked out, and you know, anyone who's looking to buy this car, you know, I'm sorry that only one person can buy it, and part of it is a little bit selfish on my part, where logistics and price and convenience definitely are worth something to me. I will say the ownership experience of a 20-year-old E46, the ZHP model, was really good, and I'm pretty picky. You know, one of the gripes I have is, especially highway driving, I wish it was faster. So that's where, you know, 235 horsepower, even downshifting, you know, you can accelerate, of course, way better than like a CVT or something like that. So you at least have access to the power, but it's only so much power. And I know that that's a silly gripe, but that is one thing when you're used to more powerful vehicles. This feels like it needs a little more oomph to it. So again, kind of a silly annoyance, but everything else is good. Just random little things for me. I got lucky because previous owner was very meticulous with maintenance and things like that. So that being a buyer, usually I'm the one that's selling, and that person sees me saying, oh, I did all this stuff. So it's nice to be on the receiving end sometimes where you're like, well, actually this person really cares. So you're buying the owner to a certain extent. Of course you can be unlucky, but yeah, so beautiful Imola red, older BMW that I never really had a huge like desire to own a ZHP. I didn't really know much about them, and it's crazy like the way things happen where I literally just drove in my own neighborhood like 3 years ago where I used to live before this house, and I was driving down the road like 2 blocks down, and I saw it for sale with a sign in the windshield, and I was like, oh yeah, that's the, this sounds like a normal person, but like, oh, that's like the sport model, or that's the one that wasn't the M3, but it was like the sport or something. And I felt really dumb, but I'm like, you know what? Let me check it out. I'm not normally that guy, but I checked it out, and I was like, I think this is the one that like was kind of the sporty one that had a manual. You know, it came in a 6-speed. So I think it's like a little faster. So I looked in the window and it was a 6-speed. I'm like, uh-oh, now I'm interested. Otherwise I would have walked away without even skipping a beat. It would have been an easy way to walk away for me, because I think a slower car needs a manual. A lot of cars need manual, but a slow car definitely makes it more involved, obviously. So, you know, push came to shove, and I was like, well, shoot, I don't really want this car, but it's very, you know, price was very low, and the maintenance was really good, and, you know, needed some TLC, so we negotiated and agreed, and I bought it. So which felt kind of weird, buying an older car that I didn't really want. I didn't really want to flip it or do anything specific to it other than clean it up, so I just rolled with it, and here we are close to 3 years later, to be honest with you guys. So there's been tons of content. So that's kind of the synopsis. I do get a little attached to vehicles. You know, I do get a little bit emotional because I don't normally see them as a transaction. I see them as like, even the Raptor over here, like I knew when the first gen Raptor came out in like 2011 or 2010, whatever year that was, and like the orange, like the one jumping with the little cab, and I'm like, damn, now I kind of want a truck. Like that looks really cool. And then of course I drove one or been in around, and then you're hooked. So you emotionally feel like you really want it. Same thing with the M3, you see it and you love it and that sort of thing. This car, I didn't really have that, so I'm a little bit less disconnected. And I know that sounds silly, but for you car people out there, you can probably understand there somewhat of an emotional attachment, which probably explains why you may have more than one of them like me, because most people see them as appliances. I see them as opportunities and fun, and for me they make money, right? The videos and product promotional things. So for me, if you can buy it at the right price and sell it at a reasonable price and make content on it, it actually is viable. Lots of YouTubers literally do that for a living. So it's nice that I get to sort of taste that to some extent, enjoy a cool car that for some people they really sought after, and others they just enjoy having it. So it's cool to be part of the community, the ZHP guys, E46 guys, and share this, you know, with fellow, especially more BMW guys. I don't really know, I'm not gonna disclose like the price quite yet of that, because it's more personal for people who buy. So at the moment, I'm gonna hold off. So no, I'm not gonna tell you the price. Not for me, but more for the buyer, because I wanna be respectful of him. And if he's fine with me talking about it in the future, I will. But it's, most of these, 130,000 miles, 10 to 15 grand. That's what they are. So that's all I'm going to give you for a car like this, and that's it. So anyways, send me an email if you want to learn more. I mean, I had 3 years of ownership. I put 15 to 20,000 miles on it, give or take. So a decent amount. Drove to Cleveland, which is 100 miles each way. And it's been a good car. So only one engine light in 3 years. So old BMW. People do not really respect you though, because it's like a little red BMW, and people are like, I'm gonna cut you off. You're a BMW driver. So especially being a little red car versus the truck, very extreme examples. You know, you're pushed around a little more on the road sometimes, you know, if you're driving downtown, but otherwise it's fine. No one really knows the difference. It's just a red BMW to them. So that's it. Car looks good. So long, E46 ZHP. And we will be saying hello, if you're still watching this video, we'll be saying hello to a very, very special car that I did not sacrifice on. So, for example, the M3 has the gray inserts. Everything else I love, I sacrificed because everything else played out and I could change the seats. But this other car, not the case. There's not a sacrifice involved. It's a spec that it would be in my top 3 specs for sure. So anyways, that's all I'm gonna say, because you may have an idea what it is just because you know me, but I haven't announced it. I haven't really told anyone, and it's not official yet, so it's possible it falls through. It's off to a really good home. He's a detailer, a fellow enthusiast, loves the manual transmission, of course, and 4 doors practical, good on gas. So anyways, ZHP is out in about a day. Love this thing, and off to a new home. So it's been great. So long, ZHP, and thank you guys for watching.